Hey y'all, it's David Ducker coming back at you, and today we're going to be talking about problem players, the power gamer. I've seen a lot of discussion online recently about power gamers, and some people have vicious, vile hatred towards them. You know, they took the hatred disadvantage power gamer, and then other people are defending them, and they're saying, oh well, you know, they don't really hurt the game that bad. And I've seen power gamers who are good role players and power gamers. Now, I'm pretty neutral actually on power gamers, but I thought I'd do a video because there's so much talk about them. I can certainly see both sides of the argument. So what is a power gamer? Let's start with the definition. A power gamer is someone who puts function over form. So rather than making a character and setting the character, they'll make a build, a skill set, and then try to write. If they try to write, they'll try to write around that. Usually focus on combat, whether that's physical combat, range combat, magical combat. They try to kill things without being killed. Through their build, not through their backstory, through their story, through their fighting style and personality, just through pure mechanical might. So that's what a power gamer is. Now if you come through and look at the problems with that, for me the problems are fairly minimal. Because as a GM, if you're a power gamer and you're coming through and say, oh, I'm gonna help the party by beating the GM, by beating the monsters, the baddies, whatever. That doesn't work. It's not true, because the GM can just use GM fiat and he'll beat you every single time. So you're not going to cause a problem for the GM because he can just beat you. You know, it's easy for him. So you're not causing him a problem. You know, I was GMing a Pathfinder game. One of my players was power gaming, so I just powered up all the monsters too. The players are at 10th level, and everything else in the world was 20th level at least, because I had to account for the power gamer. So for me as a GM, no problem. He had no more impact against my world or my bad guys or my NPCs, even his allies, than he should have, because I controlled the pace of the story and the strength of the world. So it wasn't really a problem. It broke the realism a lot, but the actual narrative remained intact. So we lost some realism, which I hate to do, but if you have to make the choice between losing the narrative and losing the realism, the narrative wins. So no problem for me as a GM. Now, the problem that power gamers create then is with the other players. Because if you're at a table and you're not power gaming, you've made a real character with a history, motivations, with NPCs and places that he's from, a personality and a unique appearance. You know, if you've done all that awesome stuff to help your GM with the narrative and help the story, and the guy next to you is done none of that, he's just built a stat block and he's power gaming. Like I said, the GM doesn't matter for him. I mean, on the one hand, that power gamer might not, like I said, be contributing all these role-playing things, so he might be draining the GM of creativity, because he's basically just a wallflower. He's given the GM no help. So, I mean, that's bad, and I'll do a video on wallflowers too, but the actual act of power gaming itself not hurt the GM, but for you, if you've written in your backstory, oh, I'm one of the greatest swordsmen, and then he's got no backstory, or maybe his backstory is just, I'm a generic fighter, I'm a soldier in the army, and yet this generic soldier is outshining you in combat when that's supposed to be something you're good at. Now he's hurt you. He's taken like one of the cool, special, unique things about your character, and he's taken it away from you. So that's hurt you. You might only have 4 or 5 points of detail on your character because it takes a long time to introduce each point. So you don't have time to introduce a huge number of points of detail. So a character can only have, somewhere between 3 and maybe 9 if you're running them a long time and if you're really skilled at pushing them. If you've taken one of those away, that's between 30 and 10% of your value that's gone. That's a big percent. Even 10% of your value, that's a lot. So that definitely can hurt you. Now, if you're a good role player, that's not even a big deal though, because you can change your concept midstream to work around the power gamer. Or you can engage in some power role playing to just crush the power gamer out of your game. I'm going to do a video on power role playing as well. So again, the really good role player, it's not going to cause a problem for him. So the real people who are going to hurt is the new players or the weaker players who come in and they're trying and they've got their character, and one of his big things is he's a big good fighter, and you take that away. And for me, if you took that away, I'd have 8 other things to fall back on. For a new player or a weaker player, if you take that away from him, he might not have very much left for his character. So what the power gamer is really going to hurt is the other players, especially the weaker players and the new players. You can't hurt the GM because he's got fiat. He just does. It's his job to make sure that the story keeps running. And if he lets you derail the story, he's failed in his job. And the other players, they're just going to be outshone by you. You're going to outshine them, steal their spotlight. And the better you are as a player, the more you should be trying to give the spotlight to others. So, I mean, in that sense, power gaming is very rude. But overall, I really don't see it as an enormous problem. Like I said, it hurts the weak guy. It hurts the new guy. That's not good. But it's so easy to deal with for anybody else. Just avoid it. Or power roleplay through it. Or, as a GM, like I said, just hit him with fiat. So, it's not really a big deal. I did want to give my 2 cents into it, though, because a lot of people ask me about it. Oh, what do you think of power gamers? And I kind of shrug. I'm like, whatever. I can deal with them. No problem. And I have seen power gamers who are good role players as well. And they can really steal the spotlight from a new guy. But that's kind of another player type, spotlight hog. So I'll do a separate video on spotlight hogs, but just power gaming by itself, not really that huge a deal. You can have other skills that make up for it, and there are a variety of ways everyone else at the table can work around you. So that's my thoughts on power gamers. If you have thoughts, leave them in the comments below. If you like power gamers at your table, if you are a power gamer, if you've dealt with them before, if they've ruined your game, if they've actually helped your game somehow, leave these comments below. I'd be interested in hearing about it. And to sign out, though, everybody have a good day in YouTube land.